Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and the Alliance raid, the Labyrinth of the Ancients, part of the Crystal Tower questline. Now, as I said last time, these raids come with 24 players divided into 3 groups, these so-called alliances, of 1 tank, 2 healers, 5 DPS. And we are part of Alliance A. So this is my second run of this dungeon because, yeah, I had a pretty bad group during the first one where they started spamming like crazy. And sure, I could cover up the chat, but I really didn't want to. Also, it runs a bit more smooth when you have run it once before. Okay, we begin with a left path, where first we have a room full of mobs. Oh, you barely see anything. Oh, and the room floods. So stand on the raised platforms, I guess. Okay. The same again with different mobs. Nicely in the chat, someone is explaining what is coming, though. My personal preference is explain things once they are there, not take everything at once. Nobody remembers and you have to look up in the chat log and who knows what else someone else says until then. Okay, but a third group. This time, yeah, this Succubi and Ahriman monsters. Bit more nasty because most of these have range, at least a little bit, and some nasty effects like seduction and petrification, but really these battles are not hard. There's our first boss, I guess? This bone dragon. Looks familiar from Mobius if you have watched this on my channel. Mobius Final Fantasy. Come on. And you get these skeletons and they start running towards the dragon, and they get close enough, they unleash a shockwave that hits everyone. Yeah, and if they all come at the same time, that is bad, right? So maybe delay some of them a bit. Honestly, I have wiped you and you had suddenly 6 skeletons exploding in your face at once. And then the dragon resurrects. Ow, ow. But he lets her on the ball. Dragon stands up again. And rotting eyes, you can see them, but those are again Ahriman type monsters, and this means this is the last round. Just focus the boss down and it's over. Now every group gets its treasure chest. Nothing useful for me yet, as I have none of the drops listed in that equipment. Also, this is significantly worse than the top equipment you can buy in Mordona in Revenant Store for tokens, so... Now, here the path divides. A player is nicely marked which way each alliance is to go. It's typically A goes left, B goes middle, C goes right. Now, there are these platforms for each group that need 4 players so another group can attack their boss. But yeah, 4 players, we are too many here, so... guess I can go ahead and hit the boss as well. It's of course cleverly designed that the boss is outside the range of a range DPS when they stand on the platform. And once the other group is finished with their boss, the people can get off the platform, so let's burst it down. Now our Thomas is down. Bees as well, otherwise our platform would still be glowing. See? The bridge goes up and we can continue. And as Group A, we are the first to get the ethereal status, which lowers our damage but makes us able to attack the boss. Yeah, it's me still confused. Come down me with a button spam. And the ethereal status went out, so I guess someone else got it. Okay, what do we get? A belt. Okay, and the third path. straight ahead. Up. Next room. There's always some people who like to splash in the lava. Now, once again, three bosses here, basically. The Sagos split through the alliance. A goes left, B goes straight ahead, C goes to the right. And the Sagos spawn the Alagan balloons and napalms here that start floating towards the central bomb. And if too many of these balloons reach the central bomb, it blows up and kills the raid. So catch the ads. And please people, do not bring the bosses together. That's a terrible idea. Keep them apart. They have AoE damage and then they start spamming it also. Yeah, that hurts a lot. Also, I think they might get damage resistance if they get too close to each other. But I might be wrong about that one. Just don't do it, okay? Okay, and once all three bosses are down, the bomb becomes vulnerable in the center and kill it off. The boss for this section of this area is King Behemoth. Now, if someone knows King Behemoth from other Final Fantasies, yeah. Hit it. People get these green markers. Step away from the boss a bit. You get a stone on your head. And from time to time, the King Behemoth casts Ecliptic Meteor. And if you do not stand behind a stone, or the stone is too close to the boss, you die. So do not do what I do here, stand close to the boss. The stone needs to be outside his hitbox. Otherwise, it doesn't count. And the boss is down. Yeah, he also spawns as regularly. If they come too close, deal with them, otherwise ignore. There is our final boss. of light. I won't get that. That is pretty much sought after the armor of light. Yeah. Just take the teleporter up above. Again, to the marker. To your group. A goes left, B goes middle, C goes right. And Phlegaton. Hit him hard. Damage markers do not stand in them. Flames. Boom. Back to a point. Once he starts the Ancient Flare, you need... When the cast is done and not enough players stand on their platforms here, the 3 big platforms, if not enough players stand on their platforms, it's over. All 3 platforms need to be activated, I believe again with 4 players on each platform. Or everyone dies, otherwise only the people who didn't get out of the area in time. Oh yeah, Iron Claws. They try to stun a player. But so you can't run away in time, right? Yeah. Didn't get a second cast off. Poof. That Labyrinth of the Ancients is complete. Clashes with my hairstyle, but okay. Of course, Alagan Scatterless and broken music tracks. You can repair those with alchemy, by the way. Oh, that's Serenia. Very impressive, I must say. Your name shall be writ large in the volumes that are sure to repent of this historic expedition. The scale of its structure defies comprehension. Someone plainly thought bigger was better. According to the findings of my Bardessian colleagues, the Crystal Tower was constructed to collect and store the endless energies of the sun. A characteristically ambitious undertaking. Now, what of the towers and defenses? Judging by your haggard expression, clearing out the labyrinth was no small feat. A giant of a man wielding a shimmering scimitar, you say? Yet, that will have been Phlegaton. Not Acheron, Phlegaton. He was a hero of the Allagan Revolution. And you gleaned that from what exactly? His choice of weapons. Well, I am a historian. I have a certain, shall we say, affinity for the lore of the Allagan Empire. It is, of course, all knowledge gleaned from musky scrolls and tomes. The ancient texts claim that the Crystal Tower is defended by the champions of Eld, resurrected and augmented through the Allagan's extraordinary technology. Chief, you need to see this. Well, well, there it is, the foot of a tower. What surprises do you have in store for us, I wonder? I can't tell you how glad I am to have you with us on this little jaunt, old friend. Had you not beaten a path through that maze, I very much doubt we'd be standing here right now. Well, we have much to discuss and digest. Let us retire to St. Cognac's Find for the present, and there plan our next step. Lest there be any doubt, our expedition has some way to go yet. Okay. Back at the Find. So good of you to join us, Serenia. Our meeting would be dull indeed without a full account of your experiences in the Labyrinth. Take a moment to collect yourself, and when you're ready, we shall debate how to best proceed. The Fellowship of Noah being accounted for, it is time this assembly was called to order. Rambrose will be presiding over the meeting. If you would be so kind as to inform him of your readiness to proceed. Welcome back, Serenia. I have just been reading about your encounter in the Labyrinth of the Ancient. It pleases me greatly to note that you seem none the worse for the experience. For your reference, I have added my own notes to Gra's preliminary expedition report and begun compiling a Crystal Tower survey log. The information contained therein will be available to you at all times. Should you have any questions, you need only ask. Now, if there are no objections, I shall begin with a summary of the expedition's key accomplishments. In the course of this, our first foray into the grounds of the Crystal Tower, we succeeded in neutralizing the structure's outer defenses before proceeding to secure the maze surrounding the base of the spire. According to Serenia's account, the Labyrinth's defenses were most empathetically active. Disturbingly, her report also mentioned a violent encounter with a sentry heavily augmented by elegant technology. In short, our misgivings were well founded. The Crystal Tower was not simply thrust above ground by the chaotic shifting of Earth. It has somehow been reawoken. If, as it seems increasingly likely, the tower's secrets should prove too dangerous to share with the world, we will have no choice but to contain them. Short of leveling the place, this will almost certainly involve returning its mechanisms to a state of dormancy. To do that, however, we will first need to address the question of how they work, the answer to which must surely be waiting for us inside the tower itself. In conclusion, that is where we must go. A task rather easier said than done, if the perils of the labyrinth are any indication. Then I move that all further exploration of the tower be delayed until such time as an exhaustive analysis of the structure's defenses has been completed. Master Garland, may I entrust this task to you? It would be my pleasure. Don't forget about us. It's like you said, Chief. We founded the Ironworks to make sure the technology was used for the right reasons, and that means making sure it's not used for the wrong ones. We wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't see this through to the end. Lads, well, I hope you're ready for some back-breaking chores. Well, everything seems to be in hand here, so I shall take my leave of you for the present. If I'm to witness this valiant terror unfold with mine own eyes, I must needs own my martial skills and reascend the spire. You'll do nothing of the sort, Gra. Your knowledge may prove useful to Master Garland's investigation. As an observer, I'm not strictly speaking subject to your authority. Pray do not mistake my intent, Serenia. I'm well aware that I shall never be a match for one with your initial talents, however hard I train. Be that as it may, pray do not allow your skills to rust from disuse during the coming pause. We need you fighting fit if our subsequent forays are to prove as productive as this one. Mark me, We are not yet caught more than the briefest glimpse of that which time has obscured. Soon, however, we shall cast off a veil and gaze upon the glory of the Alagan Empire. And with that encouraging thought in mind, it is time to bring this assembly to a close. Let us all focus on the task at hand, that our next expedition may begin all the sooner. Meeting adjourned. And this waiting time used to mean wait until the next patch. No? Hey you, I know you. You gave us a quest. Such a terrible mess. Yet it does leave the door wide open, so to speak. One cannot help but be impressed. I'm beginning to understand the reliance you place on adventurers, old friend. So, this is the legacy the Alagan Empire left behind. If my readings are correct, the energy source waiting atop the tower is a match for even the ultimate weapon. Nay, more than a match. A new toy for me to play with. I believe the fates had conspired to deny me my just reward once again, but it would seem they had a greater destiny in mind for me. It's Nero. Great. Remember Nero? Chief engineer of the Gallian Empire? And so long as my ambition burns, I shall strive to seize it. The dream lives on, Sid. Do not disappoint me. Yeah, but that shall be the end of this episode. Until next time, I'm Mace and don't get lost.